This is Fred Beck and Fred Talks Fighting, proudly sponsored by Empire Fight Storm. I'm very lucky to joined by, once again, by Greg Marriott. Greg, how's it going, mate? How you been? It's been a while since we last spoke. I believe you last caught up in, I think it was August.
August, yeah. It's been, do you know what? It feels about 10 years from then. It's been a mad roller coaster ride with Kels, to be fair. It has. It's been mad.
It's been a long, but August for me, it doesn't feel that long ago, you know. It was like yesterday. Time flies. What, do you just feel a long time ago?
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, I moved into Kell's house in, I think, back end of June, you know, so in July, because we thought this fight were going to get done in October. So I moved in, and then obviously talks, listen, it were mad. Demands were mad. So, I mean, I'm not getting involved with contracts, but I know what kind of went on. And then he got postponed to December. So I was like flitting in and out of Kell's house, you know, trying to keep him on at 70%. And then obviously December's changed to February. So I think that's a blessing in disguise for Kell, because can't give him too long. He give him too long, so he just trained like a beast. You know, we had to obviously hold him back, but we trained like a beast for 6-7 months. Do you know what I mean? He kind of, I think he was dangling carrot and trying to like say, oh, it's not, but thinking Keller went off rails, and he didn't. We just worked together. Didn't have 6 weeks holidays with kids on a missus, you know, my wife. And to be fair, I had Christmas in Scotland and then went straight up, you know, to Fuerteventura. Flew from there and had New Year over there. And it seems like it's been forever. That's why it don't feel like yesterday.
Yeah, that's quite good. That's quite a good answer. But do you prefer living in Kell's house or your own house, though?
Oh, my own house. Well,
really?
if I could take a miss and the kids and put them in that house and have that house, yeah. But listen, it's just I were in a bed. To be fair, it's a funny story, because when I moved in June, actually it was the worst weather on planet Earth. And I said to Kell, I need a mattress. Yeah, no problem. First thing, we get a bed after. I need a mattress. So I went to Dunelm Mill and I bought a mattress for 90 quid, Super King. And it is the best mattress I've ever tried in my life, honestly. And like, I went, we just need a bed now. He's like, yeah. And like, it just, weeks went on and I never got a bed. So I was on a mattress on floor, but I kind of enjoyed it. A bit like the old feng shui, you know, in Japanese, where they sleep on floor just on a mattress. It was nice. And so just carried on from there. So just moved in Kell's house and stayed on a mattress on floor. So I had my own room, which were good. But the benefits, they had a big piano there. He had a big piano, so I just played that every day, and a snooker table. But you miss home. Listen, I'm a family man, and I love to come home to my wife and my kids at the end of the day. So it's hard, but it is the work that needed to be done. You know, Kell he needed me to move in. You know, he can't cook. You know, I'm not saying that anything derogatory about him, but he can't cook. You know, he doesn't do his own meals, so it needed to be done bang on to get him to where he needed to be, and it did pay off, because listen, you know, you saw his shape, you saw what we like it weighing. And, you know, it's not because I got it wrong before, even for Terence Crawford fight. It was just that Kell with that switched on and give yourself enough time. You know, with Crawford fight, I wasn't there. You know, with Billy Joe in Fuerteventura, but I couldn't even get to Crawford fight because of restrictions. You know, with COVID, you know, while he fought Crawford, I was supposed to go, but if I were to have, let me just cancel that. If I were to have gone over there, I think I had to isolate for like 14 days. Restrictions were silly, you know, back over in a hotel. So I couldn't have got back for Billy Joe. So it was a bit of a weird, crucial time in that pandemic. You know, I think a lot of fighters said the same. You know, a lot of fighters fought and stunk place out. You know, it was just it was a weird time that. So you need to be with fighters. You need to be able to see them and see what goes wrong. And it can just 1%, but that 1% can be massive. And I think that were a massive factor with Kell and Crawford, especially not going with Dominic as well. You know, so I think Crawford on Saturday night must have looked across the ring back in round 5 and thought, I'm glad he didn't turn up, you know, for me, kind of thing.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from there. Well, that kind of long preparation. But talk to me about the fight. I remember seeing you, how happy you were. I remember watching it. I think I was on my laptop. I'm using it right now. And I remember you jump into the ring. You ever been that happy in your life, Greg? Was that like one of the best days of your life?
Well, I'm getting married and my kids getting born. I think it's such. I never get nervous for a fight. You know, I never get, you know, my job's my job. And someone said to me, I said, you're so excited, you know, that you've done that for him. I'm like, well, really, that's what I'm getting paid to do. you know, oh, you're so good at your job. I'm like, well, it's just a job. You know, if I weren't good, I won't be in this environment. So, you know, I do know I'm good at my job because I do know anything that I put my effort into, I'm good at anything. You know, I could become a brain surgeon if I want to, and that kind of guy, you know, so it just comes natural to me. But being happy, it was just every shot that can't even just nearly landed. I'm thinking, oh God, is he going to get knocked out? It's like, it was just, there were so many emotions. It were like, I didn't know what to think and what to say. I think I've gone across the ring and shouted, and what? And what? My arms are going up, and I don't even know why I said that, you know, but it is just a, you know, it's a barrel of mixed, you know, caught up emotions, and it just all gets let out. And I think I think it took me 3 days to literally come down from it. You know, I was falling asleep constantly, just crashing because, you know, I mean, the demands that they were making about having to get Kels to a certain weight, and I can't go into too much, but there was so much pressure on me. I didn't feel the pressure because I like pressure. I love fight week. I love the pressure, you know, getting him on scale and, oh, is he looking good? I love that. You know, it just comes natural. But there were so many different little things that I can't go into what were just, you know, what would have been reflected on me and my job. You know, so I think subconsciously they were there, but they never come forefront until after you think, wow. And then I would just, it were a massive crash. And I think I've only got around that today. So yeah, I can say that I were excited, yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I did look at it. Have you watched the ending back where you jump in the ring? Have you seen that again? You watched it back plenty of times.
I've watched. It was funny because there's a new guy who works there, and when he won, I run up to the ropes. He went, "Hang on a minute," and obviously he didn't let me ring for a second because obviously he was seeing to Khan because I were on Khan's side. I were on Khan's side at ring, you know. So he was just seeing if obviously I weren't going to run over to Khan. And then as I was getting to get a ring, this security guard grabbed hold of my leg. I'm like, I looked at him, I said, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "You know, you can't get up." He like kept holding my leg. So I kind of had to nicely, you know, get hold of his hand and tell him to get off me kind of thing. And off I went into the ring because, you know, it's not about me, you know, it's about Kel, but it's just like you say, it's this, what we went through as a team, you know, how long the camp was. It was just like, you're living every shot in there with him. So of course you want to get in the ring and, you know, celebrate with him because we've all put so much into it. We've all missed his families and his kids and his wives. You know, we've all sacrificed so much. And I think it's just been so much as a team that like, yeah, Kell's the one that, you know, gets the most kudos. But I think as a team, we've all put so much into it that, you know, we just look what we've done. And I think Adam Smith on commentary said, look how much it means to the team, you know, Greg, Dominic, and, you know, they know how hard we've worked as well, you know, behind the scenes to get this done. So, yeah.
Yeah, success. And tell me, Greg, not much being talked about the glove situation. I remember seeing walk to the ring. I remember seeing that the Empire, or Shadow Empire, but the Empire Pro tape, it wasn't wrapped around his gloves. What was going on there, the gloves?
So I think it was something to do with they weren't allowed any horsehair in the glove. That was, I think, contractually binding. So I think they were saying that the gloves that they were wearing, you know, they couldn't say that there wasn't any in, you know. So they just said, "Can you wear the same gloves?" And we were like, "Yeah, but they've already been passed through the board," and it was just pandemonium. So we're like, "Well, we don't know if his have." You know, and this were right at the wire before we're going to go in ring, you know, so kind of thing. So we just decided, you know, we're going to walk out in them gloves and then change them in the ring kind of thing. But it was just like a bit of a, it reminds me like going to Monaco and going to places like I've been to Venice. It's not real. It's a bit bizarre. It's a weird sensation when you go to places like that because it's just not like normal life. You know, it's a bit dreamy, and I think it were all just like a big dream looking back. As the same with the gloves walking in, and I was thinking there'd been that many games being played, you know, mentally trying to get into Kel. I think at that point it were like Kel and Dom, you know, saying no, this is what we're going to do. You know, we want it on our terms, right to wire. But yeah, that's what the glove situation was. They couldn't, if there was horsehair after, obviously, you know, there'd have been they'd have been able to pay probably through contracts. So we just decided, yeah, fair enough. We'll both, if he's happy with us both wearing it staying, then, off we go. But I think for Kell, because he always wear flies and he's never wore that tight before, that Grant. They are Grants, he does like Grants, but they're like, I know Con has bad hands, so he has bigger pillars in him. Obviously, Kell's a hard puncher, so, but it didn't distract him away from what he was doing. When he went in there, and looking back, I'm kind of glad he did put them gloves on, because listen, I got a lot of respect for Conor. I know him. Do you know what I mean? A few words were exchanged through in the press conference and the weighing different things, but that's just fight talk, And I went up to him after I had a picture with Conor, and I said, "Listen, God bless, and I hope you do everything well in your future from now, because." Listen, he did take a lot of punishment, and he stood up to it. He didn't go down. He didn't get levelled, and I think everyone thought he was going to do that. And he must have trained hard for that fight. People said he come in 50%, but to withstand that kind of pressure from Kell, he must have trained hard. So you got to take that off to Khan, to be honest with you. Of all the games, everything, there was so much respect in the end. Because we're all saying, "Oh, he's not going to say thank you," and then get hold of him and shake his hand. But it's boxing, you do. After that, after you've won, and you've got to respect the other guy getting in the ring.
Yeah, talk to me about those games you just mentioned there. So Kell was saying after the people knocking on his door like 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Did you know that people on Khan's team knocking on Kell's door? Is that true?
I don't think they were knocking on his morning. A fire alarm went off a few times.
Oh, okay.
Fire alarm went off a few times just when it was Thursday. Friday. It was Friday. No, tell a lie. It was Saturday about 5:30. Fire alarms were going off. And Kell looking around, I went, "Kell," I said, "I couldn't care less what's happening in this hotel. We're just, we're not going anywhere," kind of thing. But I don't know about knocking on doors. There were a few things going on, but I don't want to. I'll not go into it because I've got too much respect. I've got too much respect for Khan. It might have been his team. I don't think it were directly a Khan that wanted to do that. I think it was just obviously other people just trying to play games. But listen, at that point, Khan's got a serious job to do, and he's in fight mode. So it's probably just the entourage, trying to do that. But we didn't let it phase us whatsoever. Kell was so focused, and I think that shone in fight. To be fair, I think you could actually see that, he didn't let go. He got so much emotion. He did take it. We said, don't take it into the fight, And I think you could see Kell did take it out into the fight at some point because he was wildly swinging, and he was trying to get him out of there. And Kell's not usually like that, but I think that were inevitable, to be honest with you. But I think one of the main jobs that I do with Kell, not just nutrition, it's there as well. Because I build such a relationship with all my fighters that they trust me, they believe in me. And I think that's it. Just telling him to eat and getting him in shape. It's a lot more different than building a relationship and making them trust you, and getting that bond with them, because it's a family in there. If I know you're on your own in there, but if you feel like everyone's got your back, it does something else to a fighter. And I think that's one of my main attributes as a nutritionist. I have to build that solid foundation relationship with a fighter.
Certainly, you do have a plethora of different fighters, and I think the real question is, where does Kell go from here? I know you're very close to Kell. I know he said he'd talk to his family and his friends. You being his friend, where do you think he's going to go from here?
He's riding high at minute, and his emotions are probably getting better of him. He's saying that he has got another one in him, which he has. I didn't take no punishment in that fight whatsoever, not one. It looked like he said it. To be fair, he said it was one of the easiest fights he's ever done in his life. And watching it back, I've watched the highlights. I need to sit down and actually analyze it properly. Not that it matters to anyone else if I do it, but I just like to do that for myself. But he has said that he's got another fight in him, whether that's at 154, whether that's at a bit heavier. I don't know yet. Whether it's, I don't think it would back down at welterweight, because to be fair, that it didn't kill him to make that weight, but it was hard. It's always going to be hard, So I don't think he has to prove anything down at welterweight to anyone else. He's not going to start, trying to get another world title and ranking up to try and, he's a prize fighter. So he is saying that, yeah, he wants to fight again, whoever that is. I know he's mentioned Eubank. I know Conor Benn's been mentioned. An exhibition with Floyd. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I'm not sure. But listen, boxing's gone mad. Look at Jake Paul. He never thought that he was going to do what he was going to do, and he did. And Logan Paul, different things. So who's to say? But I think would I like to see him hang his gloves up? Yeah, and walk away. But has he got more to give? Yeah. So it's whatever he decides, you know, I'll go with him, and I'm not going to try and urge him to get into the ring anytime soon or ever again. It's just down to him and what he feels he still owes to sport. If that's anything, I don't think it is, but you know, he's a fighting man, and if someone comes to him with a massive payday, you know, and he thinks the fight he can win that fight, then also said that he'll not say, yeah, let's go.
The two fights that are kind of being talked about is the Chris Eubank Jr. fight and the Conor Benn fight. Out of the two, which fights do you think is more likely?
Which do I think is more likely? Kell would like to probably fight at a bigger weight. So obviously, Eubank could have to come down to catch weight.
155.
And Conor would have to go up. So it's either here or there. So I reckon, would Conor want? Conor said he'd come up to fight Eubank, but listen, Kels a force, an absolute force. You know, so I think the question is, which fighter wants to come up and which one or doesn't want to come up, and which fighter does or doesn't want to come down to fight him. I think that's the deciding factor there. I don't think it's anything to do with Kell. Kell will take any. Kell will take any. He's not interested. I think he thinks he can just easily beat both of them. But obviously, it's deciding on what weight and what demands are they going to want. But unfortunately, they're not the A side at the minute. Kell'S.
Yeah, certainly. It's gonna be interesting. Do you think you have like another 6 months out, and then he might be in the ring again? And if he decides to come back, how long do you think the layoff will be?
No, I don't think 6 months. I think that's unrealistic for Kell, because while he's riding out like this and he's in such good shape, I don't think you can afford to have 6 months out with his age. You know, I'm not saying get straight back into a camp and fight, by no means, but does need to tick over, does need to keep healthy, and does need to keep in a weight range, which I've told him that's going to be sustainable. So when he does turn it on, we do get a camp if he fights again. You know that it's as easy as this camp, but doesn't have to go as long. You know what I mean? So he knows the targets that he needs to stay in with. So I think, you know, all promoters out there, or wherever he goes, be obviously Benn Shalom. You know, I know that he had a good relationship with Ben. You know, different things. I know that obviously Eddie's got Conor Benn. Ben's got, you know, Eubank. I've no idea how it's all going to work. I'm not a promoter, and I don't know much about boxing, to be honest with you. You know, in regards to your question, but I just think that it needs to probably happen sooner rather than later, because if not, I think we'll lose that momentum of Kell Brook, you know, and he can't afford to do that. And if that does happen, I'll be advising him, Kell, I don't think this is advisable to do this again, you know. And you know, you're getting to 36. It'll be 36 in May 3rd. So you're not getting any younger, and I think he needs to strike while iron's hot. But like you said, that's if he does fight again. We'll see.
You do want to keep that momentum, but Greg, it's always good to catch up with you. We're kind of inside on the Kell Brook camp, but what have you got coming up for yourself for the next few months? So what have you got for yourself coming up?
Do you know what I've got? I've got a kid in Toronto. He's supposed to be really, really good. So back to Toronto, I've got Troy Williamson as well. So I've just linked up with Troy because he was sparring with Kell. he's obviously an MTK fighter, and I looked at Troy when he came over, and I said this to him the other day. I went down to Stockton on Tees to see him, and I said to Troy, I says, when he come along, like, you look big, and you know, he was sparring with Kell, and he's an absolute unit. He's a super welterweight, but he reminds me of Kell. I see something in him what I saw in Kell, and I seen Kid Galahad, and I seen Tyson Fury, I seen Billy Joe. There's something in him, and it's an energy. It's a special sort of energy or a demeanor that they've got, and like the will to win. He won't give up, you know. And I was asking about his diet, and it were all over the place, bless him, you know. And I just thought, wow, I can take you to another level, you know, what I can give to you. So we had a chat, and I've just took him under my wing. So I've only had 7 weeks to work with him to fight. So I said, for this fight, I says, listen, I says, you know, this is for the means to go forward. I can't work wonders in 7 weeks, but I can do a lot better than you doing it yourself. So I think for this next fight and moving on, I think he'll always be wanting to probably move up to middleweight. So I'm glad that I've got him early because we can obviously make him as strong as possible. But he's a force to be reckoned with. He will become one of the top dogs, Troy Williamson. So that's one to look out for. I'm excited about that because that's going to be probably another journey, another good journey.
Yeah, certainly. I interviewed Troy when I was sparring Kel. He's a really nice guy. Do you find that satisfying when the kind of their diet isn't as good as it could be, and when you go in and make a massive impact on that?
I see kids doing it wrong, and I think, wow, look at the level you're at. And I know, I'm not being big-headed. I just know that how it cuts weight, and how he rehydrates, or should I say, how he doesn't rehydrate. I just think to myself, I can put 50% on your game. I know that happens. Listen, I've done it for the last 10, 11 years. It is what it is. It's just, I know what's going to happen. I mean, I went down to see him the other day and I went, you're going to have a drop. And I've not seen him since camp with Kel. And I looked at his face. I went, yeah, you're going to drop tomorrow. You're going to drop. He went, I've already dropped. I went, trust me, you're going to drop. And he went, are you sure? And he texted me this morning saying, I've had a big drop. I'm like, I could see it. He went, and it's just like, it's just a bit of a talent that I have to see in people. It's like you don't just give them a diet and say, oh, what you're weighing today. It's like you have to look at people, and I understand the bodies. It's just something that I do. It's always been weird. I said to Kelly, you're gonna have a big drop tomorrow. I could just see it in people, but you have to counteract that. So when they do that, you have to force feed the metabolism so it doesn't burn out. And I don't think a lot of nutritionists do that. I just think they go on the weight. But I work totally different. I go against the grain. Completely against the grain with nutrition, and I think that's probably why I'm so successful. It's just how I work. People call me a bit of a magician, but listen, if it works, it's all about the fighter. And like I said, most up here. So yeah, I do bring another dimension to people, and once they've done it with me, it's like they never go back. And I'm glad because I want to put that into. I'm trying to build. It's going to take time. But I'm trying to build a foundation, especially for MTK fighters at foundation level. So build good foundations. People who don't know anything about nutrition, just turn pros, or even people that have who are pros or amateurs. And give them the knowledge that I've had to work at the top level. Put it into them early, so they take it through the ranks. Because I think a lot of fighters do get lost, through doing nutrition wrong, and they might have a life and death, and they didn't need to. Or not because they're just ignorant, it's because they just haven't got the knowledge, And I want to give back to the young kids coming through, so they can have the best chance at being successful, because it is a lonely game. And to be fair, if you're not at the top or reach the heights of Kell'S and people like that, it could be a lonely road. And to be fair, it don't pay that well, So I want to give them the best chance. I want to give them the best start in boxing. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, job satisfaction, that's the word I missed out. I'm going to say, does it give you job satisfaction? Because I bet it certainly does. But before just popping up a few Instagram videos of you teaching people about nutrition, or do you not want to give all that kind of secrets away? That'd be quite good. Greg. I mean, YouTube channel for yourself or Instagram or something like that.
No, definitely. I mean, to be fair, I've been saying I've been doing. I did a few. To be fair, you get a lot of people, but especially for fighters, MTK fighters, done a few Zoom calls. For people who they might have got a 4-rounder coming up. They might be just amateur. Different little things, and they all get on and they ask questions. And I've got this, and that kind of knowledge is it's just invaluable for them. It's like you can't beat. They might have going to do something totally wrong, and you just give them a bit of information, and boom, and then it's good for fighters. And they'll ask me. But yeah, I think I want to bring this year. I said it's always going to be my year. Obviously, it was supposed to be last year, but with COVID, it were hard. It were hard to get things out, and it stopped on people. And listen, not a lot of people had a lot of money and different things, to go anywhere or fights. So I think one of the big fights that were going ahead. So this year I want to bring a recipe book out. That's what I want to do. And then I want to like build that foundation for fighters. But yeah, you'll see a lot more material. You'll see a lot more material sort of accessible for people. Yeah, just basic information as well, because a lot of people miss the basics. Everyone wants to know the science behind it, but you don't need to know that. It's just simple, basic nutrition, and not a lot of people know that. So to your answer, to your question, definitely, I'm gonna be doing that.
Yeah, certainly. I think you're missing a trick there, not bringing a book up, and that's a really good idea. You having your own book, but Greg, you've got your Instagram account, I know, but your Twitter account that's private, isn't it? You should make that open, because I think you could do something quite well on Twitter. promoting stuff.
Is it right? Do you know what? Is it really private?
I think
Fred,
it is, yeah.
I'm glad you've told me that. Do you know what? I'm not the best at social media. I do crazy videos, and I know how to work Instagram, but it's like I think my kids, my daughter, and they're all on Snapchat and all this. I'm not the best. And TikTok's blowing up, and I've set a TikTok account up. I don't even know if I've done it right. So I'm glad you've told me that. I didn't know how. I didn't know that were private. So I looked, I'm thinking the followers are just staying there. So I've not realised that was private. So I'll go and I'll make that open. I will definitely make that open. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, when I put this video up, I'll tag you and make sure it's open, because then hopefully it'll grow. Yeah, because on Twitter, then people can tweet at you, you can answer their questions, build a following. It's also good to promote stuff. So when your book comes out, you can promote it on Twitter.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Fred. Are you interested? Are you interested in have a diet?
They get back in shape. But on TikTok's good, because TikTok, you can get some crazy views. One of our TikToks got, I think it's of Big John Fisher, Johnny Fisher's dad, telling everyone how he sells the tickets. It's got 500,000 views on TikTok. And that's insane. 500,000 views. I think if you because in TikTok, you get 500,000 views on one and then 100 views on another. It's real up and down that. But I think you can do quite well on TikTok. You do short videos, tell people how to eat and stuff like that. Not how to eat, obviously, that's real basic stuff. But
no. I mean, yeah. I'll take your advice. I need to get someone. I need to get somebody else to show me how to do it, because I just thought Instagram was the way. Like you say, it's I'm passionate about obviously things, but it does open doors for other people, and it's that social media side now where it sparks everyone off to want to do it. And you get a bigger. It's not about me having how many followers I've got. It's just to get the word out, so people are doing it right, because people want to know, don't they? So. Yeah, I think you'll have to get commission on that now, won't you?
When your book comes out, you need 10%. You'd have to have because when you get a book published, the publisher takes 80%, don't they? So you might want to promote it yourself and not get a publisher. Or you get Kel to shout it out, your fighters to shout it out for you. You won't need a publisher.
Yeah, this one. Yeah,
you don't want to get published. It takes 80% of it. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
It's all of it.
It is all of it, really, isn't it? All the hard work. Yeah,
you're a bright kid, you Fred. You're a bright kid. I like you. We'll have to have a conversation. Maybe you can be publisher. We'll have to do a deal.
We're sponsored by Fred Talks Fighting. Around the bottom, and little writing.
That's it.
Awesome. All right, Greg. We'll catch up soon then, mate. Thanks again for your time.